6:38 in the morning, and I am on my way to Cheyenne, Wyoming. That's where we're going to be picking up our new Grand Design Imagine 2910 travel trailer. The reason I'm going to Cheyenne is because inventory is tight in Minnesota, and our goal had always been to try and get everything taken care of, get the new rig done and set up by the time we go to Michigan. We go to Michigan at the end of this month, and currently it's August 12th. So as we were looking at inventory availability, the Grand Design dealers that were in our area, actually, even far north as Brainerd, they were all sold out. I mean, they had Grand Design inventory, they just didn't have our floor plan. And so we asked when it'd be possible to get a floor plan in. They said that they're looking at probably mid to late September. Didn't go with our plan, so we started scouring the internet for other inventory sources. There were a few in Illinois, few that would have been in Wisconsin, but they're all as like on the way, so I didn't have any confidence. So we were really looking for someone that had one in stock, and we could just go put a hold on it and go and grab it. And it just so happens that the nearest one is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Made a deal, they took the trade in, and and here I am. So it's a Thursday. I scheduled to pick up with them Friday morning, so tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I am right now hauling butt from here to Cheyenne today. The RV GPS is telling me that it's going to be a 13-hour drive. You figure with stops as quickly as I can make it, we're looking at a 13, maybe a 14-hour day. As much as I towed this trailer in the last year or so, this time it feels like it's brand new, right? I'm hitching up a new car, and I guess one of the things completely missed the fact that the rear view camera for the Nissan Armada, at least 2017 or second generation, is not placed in the center of the rear of the vehicle. It's actually offset to the right. So that was a surprise when I went to hook up last night, and I was like, why is the hitch so far off to the right? That doesn't make sense. And there were guidelines to help you park, but something that the Durango had that this car doesn't have. It's that center line that lines up with your hitch ball, so you could get it relatively close and you could get it aligned with the coupler. Didn't have that, so I was doing it like, blind is not the right term, but you were eyeballing quite a bit. And hooking up this car to that trailer probably took me about 45 minutes, just in hooking up. So last night I asked around on a forum, and I just asked, I was like, anyone else? Like, I feel like no one really talked about this. And the only response I got back was, infuriating, isn't it? So they basically just went and got a different rear view camera, and so I looked around and ordered one, and we'll figure out how that works. It's wireless, which I like. It's one of those wireless license frame rear view cameras, solar powered, so there's no wires that you have to run. Then you have a monitor that's inside the vehicle. So just another monitor that we have to have, right? So there's a truck stop right next to the RV dealership, and my hope is that I get there at a decent hour tonight, and then first thing tomorrow morning we'll just go finalize paperwork. And I asked them to help transfer the weight distribution hitch brackets over to the Imagine, and also just kind of space and half an hour for me to just move everything from rig to rig. Outside of that, it's just going to be a 13-hour driving day. So we'll see how this goes. Yesterday, I towed 800 miles with the Armada attached to our Jayco hybrid trailer. I left that at 6:30 in the morning. Most of my stops are gas related, and I got gas. I was quick about it. I had to take a couple longer stops for work purposes. So I ended up getting here at around 8 o'clock last night, and that's with Cheyenne being an hour behind Minneapolis. So that was a long day. Towing in the Armada didn't feel too bad. I think the drive was long, but I was comfortable the entire time. I think you could feel the sway a little bit as the trucks were passing by and if the winds picked up. But I also partially could be because the fact that we were not entirely balanced from a weight distribution standpoint. So I was nervous about that, but we made it 800 miles. Not that we should keep doing that. So, but hopefully when I pick up the Imagine here in a little bit, we'll be able to adjust the weight distribution to make sure that we're all balanced. So yeah, sleeping at a truck stop was interesting. I'm not actually in the truck stop. You can see there's the pilot. And when I got in here, it was pretty full. This road on the side, I saw some truckers kind of parked here, so I just found a spot for little me to nudge in. I thought the noise from the trucks were going to keep me awake, but I think they ended up being white noise because I as much as I was sleeping in a trailer and not on a mattress, I was sleeping on our couch. I slept decent, so that was good. Now it's just doing some final prep, and then we're gonna head off to the dealership. So we'll see you guys there shortly. Alright, just taking a moment to show you guys how it was hooked up. You see like the squat on the rear end, and then the front is probably a little bit higher than we like. And here we are hooked up to the weight distribution hitch. You can hear the air suspension pumping right now in the Armada, trying to somehow at least level it a little bit. But really what's going to happen is that we're going to have to drop the hitch lower so that there is more weight distribution that's happening. Because right now with the height that it is, I'm not getting enough weight distribution, which is why not enough weight is shifted to the front and the rear end is sagging a little bit. You can see with the air suspension, it's coming up. It's starting to get a little bit higher, but yeah, it's just a simple thing that I need to do. I just didn't have a torque wrench, so I'm gonna ask the dealer to do that for us. Yeah, it's looking much better now. You see here from where it was before, but you know, hopefully once we lower this too and we could pick it up a bit more, it'll take a bit of stress off of the air suspension. Otherwise, yeah, we don't want that to break. But all right, off to the dealership. All right. Just switched from our Jayco X23B to a Grand Design Imagine. Appreciate the folks here at Adventure RV in Wyoming. We needed to do some adjusting on the weight distribution hitch, as I suspected. Had to bring it down 2 levels just so it can actually transfer some weight. Otherwise, you know, this was sagging quite a bit. Here's a look at it now. You see it's done that, and then when the car starts and the air suspension kind of kicks in, we get a little bit more height. So overall I was nervous, but with these adjustments, it makes me feel a lot better about towing this 7,000 pound beast everywhere. So yep, time to go finish up paperwork and sign my life away. All right, so this morning, I got to the dealership and I was a little bit nervous. First is I wanted to make sure that we could adjust the weight distribution hitch to a point where it all there wasn't as much sag on the Armada. The walkthrough and everything was good. Now it's just about the tow. So I'm going through some pretty heavy winds in Wyoming, and I would say that it's a bit of a difference going from the Jayco to here. You could definitely feel the couple 1,000-pound difference and how much the V8 here has to work a bit more. So, but it's not to a point where it's like a deafening roar all the time. You can tell it's running at a gear lower, and I'm gonna monitor the temperature to see if there's any kind of impact there. From a weight perspective, I'm feeling okay. So now it's just making sure the transmission, doesn't want to blow itself up. But I'm on my way home, and I'm headed towards York Campground in Nebraska for an overnight stay. With the length of drive that it takes to get from Wyoming to Minnesota, I'd be getting home at this point at like 2 in the morning, so that wasn't gonna work. So York is gonna be a little stop, and then that'll actually give me time to tinker with some things, look at some little things, and see if there's anything that I need to talk to the dealership about. But other than that, we'll see you in Nebraska. Say it's a bit white knuckly at the moment. I don't know if it's the rig or if we're just driving through, like we're driving through Wyoming and it's just a vast of nothing. And I think that with the speed of the car and the wind gusts, there's definitely a little bit of sway action happening. I wonder if it's something that I just need to get used to. Happens in the Durango too, when we were towing the Jayco with the Durango. So mouth is a little dry right now. Like, I guess the right thing to say is that you can feel it, and maybe it's a good thing to feel it. A lot of people always say, like, can't even feel it back there. Well, maybe it's good to feel it, so you're constantly aware that you're pulling a 7,000-8,000 pound item behind you. All right, we're a couple hours in, and I have discovered the wonders of fourth gear in the Armada. I read about it a lot in the forums. Everyone says fourth gear is your best friend, and I just switched over, and I think they're right. What happens is, even in tow mode, we have the transmission seeks top gear. What ends up happening is, because of that search for the highest gears, it continuously has to downshift into third gear, and third gear is where you lose the bulk of your fuel economy. So right now, I just put it on manual, have it on fourth, and on smaller hills or longer, less inclining hills, I just leave it at fourth gear. But only when I need to, I'll downshift into third. And then on downhills, I'll just leave it at fourth anyway. Wait, that made it sound too interesting. Never mind. Getting used to the wind thing. Also, the wind has died down. So I think it really was driving through Wyoming and parts of Nebraska where there's just no trees and the wind is just coming at you. And, you get a little nervous. Feeling much better about that. Fourth gear on the Yamada is the way it goes. And been at it for a while. Haven't had to change gears ever. So that's been good. Transmission temp hasn't really fluctuated at all much. I think keeping it on fourth gear has been helpful there. Fuel economy right now, we're down to 8.4 miles per gallon so far. The way things are going, I'm pretty sure we're going to be getting gas like every 150 to 160 miles, which, unfortunately is not much. So that's all right. I think with the way that we're traveling outside of some, longer distance stuff, most of our trips are going to be within a day, so it shouldn't be too bad. I found fifth gear. So I'm back in Minnesota at this point, and this part of the drive has been relatively flat. And I've been rolling on fourth gear for a while. And I just decided to go ahead and shift into fifth and see if I lose any momentum. Our goal is to always cruise at around 65 miles an hour. If I need to, I could always downshift to fourth to keep the momentum going and rev a little higher. But that's a pleasant discovery. Huh? Anyway, we're almost there.